We got to talk a little bit about our game after this one.
Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live, hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Welcome to another edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. It is Saturday morning, September 21st. I've got with me Mr. Bill Anderson, Kenny Parker, and Coach Shane Young from Shelbyville Central High School. And we're here to talk some sports this morning. High school sports. We had 3 football teams in action last night in the county. Came away with 2 wins. Before we get into that and dive into it, I'd like to thank our sponsors, First Bank here of Shelbyville. Been with us for a very long time. And Kincaid
Service Company.
Where service is their middle name. Let's stop and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
This company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
All right, welcome back in here. We're here to talk some county football. Last night we had Webb playing MTCS, walked away with a win, 34-21. Now they go to 3-2, Bill.
Yeah.
I know
good win over Middle
Coach
Tennessee
Gay's got to be happy about that. Middle Tennessee Christian last year, I think we lost to Middle Tennessee Christian.
Well, they did. Middle Tennessee Christian won the state last year.
And then you look up and Webb beating the defending state champions. That's a good step for them.
Good win for them.
Big win. We also had Cascade at Watertown. Watertown pulled away 20-3 late in the game. Is that right, Kenny?
Yeah, the way I understood it, going into fourth quarter, 7-3, and Watertown scored a couple minutes in the fourth quarter to make it 14-3, and then had a pick six there toward the end to make it 23.
Okay, so it was closer than the score.
Closer than the score, and the Cascade guys, they said played well.
Well, they go to 1-4 now. Webb is, of course, Community was off Webb's 3-2, and Community hadn't got a win yet. Hopefully, they'll get one for the years out. They got some region games coming up that are very important. Then turning to Shelbyville Central last night here at Eagle Stadium. Wilson Central finally arrived after a traffic jam. They got into the stadium at about 10 after 6, which is typically that's about 45 minutes later than normal. So I don't know exactly what happened.
Fortunately for them, they had their pants on. I mean, seriously, they came in. All they had to do was put their shoulder pads and jerseys on.
And it was a bad timing for them because we had homecoming going on. And 30 minutes before the game started, we had our band on the field, so they couldn't come out.
They couldn't even get on the field.
They were on the soccer field.
On the old soccer field, correct.
They got warmed up, came in. Guys, we were there. Bill, you was watching what was going on. Coach, you were at the game. Just right out of the gate, it seemed like this is a pattern for Central. We came out flat again.
Yeah, it was definitely flat.
Now the defense looked fantastic.
2 penalties before the first play.
It was sloppy, sloppy. And you look at the penalties. We had missed assignments. You could tell just right off the bat, Shelbyville was so much more athletic and better than Wilson Central, but just didn't play well the
second quarter, I mean, they turned it on.
Yeah, they got a little better.
Turned it on, and our defense
with about 5 minutes left to go in the half.
Yeah, it just came in.
Took us a quarter and a half.
Yeah, our defense basically set the tone early. I mean, it was 3 and out, and we had
that was a big old quarterback they had too.
Yeah, he was their athlete. He was their athlete.
But way I heard, Shelby didn't give up 100 yards defensively last night.
No, it was more like 63. I think was what the total.
And I don't think Wilson Central ever crossed the 50.
No, they did not. They got up to about the 40-yard line one time, and they were behind the chains all night long. I mean, on first down, they couldn't get anything going. Our defense. I was leaving the game, and I was walking through some of the Wilson Central players down on that end zone, and there was one of the offensive linemen standing there talking to his dad. He said, "Man, that defensive line was so fast; they were everywhere like that." And that was the tone for the night. Our defense was just swarming the ball.
Well, it has been. It has been pretty much all year. It's kept them in ball game.
Well, shout out to number 8, Chandler Jones. He's come on, guys. I mean, he has come on.
Yeah.
He played extremely well. Zimmerman played well. Palmer Edwards played well.
Hey, we had a play last night. It's the first time we hit a tight end. We had Jackson Thiem on a little flat. He rolled over a guy. I mean, just trucked him, and that was good to see a tight end get in the offense besides blocking because he's got really good hands. He's a sophomore, and he's low to bring down. I think we're going to see more and more of him.
45?
45, yeah. He was really good on defense as well. Bill, you got the score rundown. You want to run over that?
Well, when we sitting, John Stanton kept coming out to me, 33.
33.
That's another guy that, you know what I'm saying, very
better,
active, and he's getting better. That's what I like seeing is more and more of these kids, all of a sudden, you're just going, hey, he can play.
Good young man, go to church with him.
Nate Zimmerman, 8 carries, 55 yards. I mean, hey, he can run the football a little bit. That's what we asked him. The keys to the game was, who's going to step up and run it? Maybe it's Zimmerman.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good.
He did. He had 55 yards, and I mean everything was positive. Robert had his typical night. He was 13 for one. I can't even read my own writing here. 123. Had 123 yards, and basically that's half of his normal carries in a big game. So he didn't have to carry the load.
He didn't really carry it off much at all in the second half. I mean,
no,
didn't have to.
Well, you go ahead and get that, and then I want to make a comment about the second half.
Well, I Coach, you interact with these kids a lot during the day.
Yes.
And I talk to Robert a lot on the sidelines. He's just like, he has a big time. Man, he's just like, I mean, what's it like interacting with some of these kids in the hallway? And
it's truly awesome. You talk about Chandler Jones. We've been knowing that he was coming. He put in the work. He actually played basketball for us for last year, and then he decided he wanted to focus on football. I think it was a good decision for him because he wanted to get on the field this year. Robert, it's just his time. Unfortunately, Rocky got hurt, and so he was the next man up. And usually they'll share the load, and it would definitely be trouble if both of them was in that backfield. But Robert done took the initiative, like, hey, this is my time. And he has. And he walks in the hallway. He's doing the self-treatment. He's getting treatment. He's staying where he can stay fresh. He's preparing his body. He's preparing his mind.
And so he's becoming a leader.
He's becoming a leader. And so the growth in his process, watching him from last year as a sophomore to now being a junior, and even the commitment level to the football field as well as the academics has really been even more special about that young man that people won't see outside of football. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like I said, we started off sluggish last night. But I mean, that's to be expected. Homecoming, a lot of our players, which a lot of people might not agree with, which I do love Coach Driver for this, and even watching our boys participate in the activities. A lot of times people think they too cool for school when they play sports, or you gotta be a jock and you got you seen both of the Bobos out there cheering and doing flips and playing dodgeball. And it's awesome to see your quarterback, who's a leader of the team, go out and be an example as well to the student body. And so it's been awesome to see all of them participate this week. So we knew probably, and no real coach really liked the homecoming. That's not, we really want the football part, But, it's part of it. And so, the parade and pep rallies. I mean, there's just a lot that's going into the boys this whole week. but to come back in that, like I said, late in the second quarter, and really establish their dominance.
Yeah.
But shout out to Coach Ransom and the D line. I mean,
Yeah.
the D line set the tone. Coach Trey on the back end. I mean, they doing an awesome job as defensive coordinators. Coach Hunsick on the offensive side, being an offense coordinator, Coach Droughton putting the game management. I mean, they doing an awesome job as a coaching staff. But like you said, the D line set the tempo last night, and that's the shout out to Coach Ransom.
Right.
Preparing and studying and really getting them boys prepared for what was coming. They had a lot of confidence going into that game that they knew that they can. If they dominate, they was gonna dominate. The score reflect, how they felt.
Yeah.
But like I said, it started off slow. We were kind of all like, "Oh my God, what's really going on?" But we had to go, hey, homecoming, let everything move out, and once the jitters and everything settled, they was ready.
I think our team is shifting to. I'm not saying a defensive minded team, but they are alive on defense. Robert at half, he said, "I hope I can play some defense." I mean, he's wanting to go out there and get physical.
I think what's happening with Chevrolet, this is just me watching. The defense is good. The offense can score, which puts the opposing offense have to get in a different kind of game that really benefits Chevrolet's defense.
Yeah.
Well, like anything, offense is going to always take. When you're losing a quarterback that was a senior last year and a receiver at Michael 3, and then now you lose one of your top running backs, that's going to be easy, a hard adjustment. We was going through a 2-quarterback system in the beginning, through spring and a little bit of the fall, and so by week 5, 6, you want to start seeing them settle into what their identity is going to be. You start a different quarterback, the style of play, he's more of a running, dual threat quarterback versus what we had last year. And so you got, it's going to take time for them to catch up. But the defense, was already established, and and it just hurt that Rocky got hurt because now it do limit Robert opportunities on defense. But Nate stepped in and really became that. Now you trying to figure out how to get Nate some touches on offense, but it's hard when he got to play majority of defense.
And I really believe, as much as we talk about Rocky, how good a running back he is, I think we'd talk about him a little bit different if he was a defense.
Oh, yeah.
That kid is a player.
He is a player. But
whichever side
he makes him play a little defense sports over the middle.
But what's awesome on the defensive side that was better is that you got 2 guys at that safety. Your back end is seasoned. You got William, who, I mean, is a phenomenal safety back there. Yeah. And then you got his brother who came on strong last year as a safety. So when you got that experience on that back, you can kind of do a little bit more playing up front, and giving the other guys like Chandler Jones experience and Ellington's experience, and starting then Zion come back into the fray, and they can kind of get a little bit because you're confident in that back because you got 2 guys back there that can cover, I mean, both sides of the field. And so they give you, now if you start some freshmen back there or a sophomore that didn't have experience, you're a little bit more nervous.
Oh, yeah.
But with that experience on that back end, it makes the defense a little bit more ahead of what the offense is at this point. Now we can see the offense going.
Oh, yeah.
This game right here will definitely give us more confidence on the offensive side. I think Bobo had 200 and some yards passing.
207. 9 for 16,
9 for 16.
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. So that confidence, even in his game as a first-year starter, as a sophomore, on the defense end, he gave us minutes last year on jet sweeps and things on the offense end. But really being that guy on full time, you're going to start seeing going into the playoffs how much dangerous the offense will be. And that's when it really matters. The reason games and playoffs is when you want to start clicking. And I think we're getting more youth playing, more experience, and we'll have more depth going into the playoffs because they put more faith in more players to come in. And games like this helps. Once you go up and you get some of the young guys some action,
what they need is
experience, get some of the older guys some rest. Like I said, Robert had 13 carries, definitely way under his average. He needed that. He needed that rest. He needed that break. We got to see Nate a little bit. And then you're going to start seeing more young guys get opportunity. We're putting them on kick returns. We're putting them on punt returns. We're putting them on kick. The more experience they get, by the time the playoffs, you'll see us having a little bit deeper rotation. And so the coaching staff is doing an awesome job putting it together.
It's my understanding that Cohen Abernathy is going to be back and add another defensive element. That he's been out the whole season. It's my understanding that possibly not this week, but the next week he'll be back on the field. And he's going to – it just takes your depth up to another level. And then we've got others coming back. I mean, Jay Whitelow, he'll be back in probably next week. You got some other players that are just on the fringe of getting back ready. And number 37, Dallas Levine, punt returner. He comes in on defense. We've talked about him so many times. He had a good punt return last night.
He did.
Most of the time they're punting away, and it's this rugby style, and you can't handle the ball. He got to carry the ball twice last night. And one of them, he got a pretty good thing. But we were up 23-0 at halftime. Bill, what in the second half, how did the scoring go?
The big thing in the first half, too, is the big touchdown pass, 52 yards on a screen to LeBron Ransom.
Yes.
Ransom takes it to the house. That was big.
Yeah.
But we forget, as good as Stephen is, he had 3 touchdowns, 2 to his brother. He's just a sophomore.
Yes.
Now, he's been playing since he's a freshman.
Yeah.
He's just a sophomore. William Bobo, over 100 yards receiving again from his brother, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns for William. I mean, just outstanding.
Yeah.
I like the way we threw the ball a little bit more because people were going to put 8-9 in the box and make us do it.
Yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different receivers catch the ball last night.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Good thing.
that's distributing the ball out. So,
And I didn't think Stephen had to run a lot last night.
no, he didn't have to. He
No,
could have.
He could have. No,
but
there's
he
no
didn't.
doubt he could have.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he didn't have to.
There's one time he scrambled to the left, to the right, back to the
He
left,
could have scored on
and
it.
then threw one down deep in the end zone.
Yeah.
Didn't complete, but yeah, he's pretty good. I want to give a shout out. A lot of the fans don't realize how hard it is as a head coach when you get a running clock. When you get a running clock, how hard it is to get your seconds and your third, your other players in the game. And as a head coach, I'm going to give Coach Dryden and Coach Judd compliments because he did a good job of getting some younger. The game just shortens so fast, and the next thing you know, you turn around and I'm sitting there talking to Gary last night, and the quarter's over with, and I'm thinking we're into the third quarter, and it's the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it just, as a coach, as parents and fans, you don't understand how hard it is as a head coach because he wants to get those kids in, but when that clock runs,
It's
man,
hard to
it
control.
makes it.
You have a
makes
limited number of plays.
very limited number of
And we
plays.
saw that. Mason came in.
And did a good
he hit Chandler
job.
Jones on a slant.
Sure.
Threw the ball up. And
I didn't think their offense
somebody
changed
else.
at all
No.
when they started.
number 29 called. Who is 29? Is it McAdoo?
Yes.
He came back and made a good play on the ball. Mason threw it up short. He came back and got it and made an athletic play. We had 386 yards total offense. They were held to 63. So it was a good night for Shelbyville. Homecoming. We're past it. Now we take on Franklin County. Bill, what kind of scores you got?
All right,
From around
guys.
the area?
Well, Lincoln County, 42, Tullahoma, 35. And I believe it's the quarterback that's doing this damage running the football. He had 37 carries, like 275 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Right.
Lincoln County, Shelbyville, that's coming up, and Lincoln County's pretty doggone good. That's at Tullahoma.
Right.
42-35, a lot of scoring in that one. We also mentioned that Columbia, kind of a surprise to me. I thought they'd have whipped up on Lawrence County. It's 24-7. Like Kenny said, that game was close going in the fourth quarter.
They scored 3. I think it was like 7-7, or it was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and Columbia was able to.
One thing about Lawrence County over the years I've noticed, they can have less talent than anybody, but they're going to fight like dogs.
Oh, they are.
They're
They
going
are.
to fight.
Play hard.
I don't care if it's basketball, baseball, football. There's a tough nature about
And
that.
they run the old school wing tee and shorten the game, and teams aren't used to playing against it all of a sudden because you don't see it,
Yeah,
and that causes you some problems with it.
yeah. They'll move the ball between the 20s, and then they'll stop at the 20s. But during that time, they're eating that clock.
And that slowed Columbia down a little bit.
Yeah.
The style of changing. You came in off a hard game the week before, and then you come back, and this style is totally different.
Yeah.
And it's ground and pound, like I said, 20-20.
Yeah.
And then it stops. It just stalls.
Yeah.
You know? Right. And so, and then next thing you know, you don't have that much time on the clock, and you just playing. So, shout out to Columbia on that, on pushing through that.
Well, I mean, you look at them, they scored 24 points. They probably had limited number of possessions.
Yes.
Okay, that's the whole idea of grinding that thing down. So they had to mentally stay
Just
focused on that.
you got to stay disciplined when
A
you play.
couple of weeks ago, Lawrence County gave Lincoln County all they wanted. I think it was 29-25.
Same
It was the same
thing.
thing there
Same
too.
Yeah.
So
You got to be disciplined when you play Lawrence County.
Oh, yeah,
you
you
got to
have to
stay the assignments. You got to stay disciplined, especially with the wing teams. The ends definitely got to stay in the corners. The DBs cannot go to sleep. And that's the one thing.
Yeah,
that
make
hurts,
it look
so.
silly.
Spring Hill got their first win of the season, 26-23 over Lawson. And here's your score: Moore County 32, Franklin County 8.
Wow.
Things going south.
1A against the 5A.
That's 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row they beat them, but I mean this was not just beat them.
And this year it was at Franklin County.
at Franklin County.
Franklin County's having a tough time, guys.
All right, guys. Coffee County 0, Page 42. Page
Unreal.
has not given up a score this year.
Unreal.
Shut out every week.
Their defense is very it's legit. I mean, they got a DN and linebacker that and really they got 3 linebackers, but it's one that's just special. 34. I mean, he come down here and he lay that hat. So their defense is legit.
I think they're legit across the board.
They are, but they'll tell you they lay their hat on their defense.
Fortunately, we got to scrimmage them earlier and got
Yes.
to get a look at
Yes.
those guys because I hope we get a look at them
Later
later.
down the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're gonna be tough.
Marshall County 42, White House 7. Maybe the upset of the night, guys. Sequatchie County 13, Marion County
That's
10.
unreal.
That's a huge win for Sequatchie County.
Definitely upset.
It's been a long time since last time they beat Marion County. Centennial 7, the opposite region, Springfield 3. Franklin 32, Nolensville 3. And Cannon County 27, Fayetteville 44. And that other score that you had, Kenny, was
Yeah,
Forest. What was that one?
Forest went to White House Heritage. They got beat 35-31. It was at Heritage. And I'm gonna tell you right now, going to White House Heritage is a long way.
Man. That's
That's a trip.
yeah, that's a trip.
One
You got to
shocker.
go through Nashville.
I mean,
One
that
shocker
was all the way
last night.
closer to Kentucky, isn't it?
Almost a shocker or shocker.
It was a shocker to me. Oakland
Yeah.
13, Blackman 12.
And scored at
That's
the
a
end.
Georgia
Hey,
Kentucky score right
and
there.
scored at the end of the game.
I mean,
do it.
Blackman was
Blackman led.
two and 3 now, and they must be tough.
Blackman,
Blackman-
Rutherford County.
Blackman is really good.
they led the whole game.
Yeah, led the whole game. Blackman has kind of been right there with Oakland. I think this year is going to be, Oakland has the talent, but Blackman is equally as fast as them, probably faster.
Wow.
A lot of their top players, the DBs, the receivers, all run track, made it to the state in track. But they just also they got a really good team. Riverdale is big. Riverdale beat Rockville.
Yeah.
42-7. I mean,
Yeah.
beat the brakes off of. Them 3 right there in that area is gonna be be exciting to see. And Oakland just had one of them games. I think Oakland came in thinking that they've been the big dog. They got most of them, got TT back. They got a lot of people that can score. Now they explosive, but I think they came in thinking we're gonna go over Blackman. Blackman did not lay down. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And when you get in that type of game, it could be anybody night.
I believe that game was at Blackman.
Yes, I
I
believe
think
so.
it was at
Blackman.
And so but Oakland's still the dog. I mean, they found a way to win. And
Yeah,
when you've been to the championship and you've been in that for years, winners find ways to win, and that's the difference in that game. Oakland found a way to win.
And I'll tell you, Coach Creasy is glad he had that kind of game,
Yes.
but he's disappointed, but he's still glad because he can use that build on.
Yes. So I mean, I probably won't want to play them now.
Yeah.
And the same way with Coach Dryden after the way they came out. Hey, David, did we not talk about how long they were in at halftime?
Yes. There was some talking going on.
There
you-
was some coaching.
Readjustments.
There was some coaching going on. at
And you're
halftime.
disappointed. I mean, like I said, when you seen Wilson Central get off the bus, it was kind of like, one, they was late, because of the traffic. 2, they didn't get a proper warm up. And we came out as sluggish as they did.
And that's
And against a good team,
as a
that could backfire.
as a player, you're wondering, well, where are they at? What's going on? You start losing your focus as
Right.
a player a little bit about, what's as far and then homecoming on top of that.
Well, you look at Columbia, we came out sluggish. You look at Marshall County, we came out sluggish. Both those games, the other team jumped out. It was a story of the first and the third quarters for the opposing team, and it was the second and the fourth for us. In both of those games, and those were the 2 toughest games that we had. but we have been coming out sluggish, except for Siegel. The first drive of the year we came out, but we've been coming out sluggish. That's one thing that we got to come out of the gates.
Yeah, because it can hurt you. And Marshall County, even though we came back, it was really Marshall County's fault because they went for the touchdown versus kicking the field goal going in the half. They lost the momentum.
Right.
We came back and we hit them in the mouth,
Yeah.
and then they took over in the fourth quarter. Right at the end, it was just a big tough game.
Yeah, I'll tell
But
you,
coming out flat hurts against really good teams.
Coach Young, as a coach, you want to see your team win the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the
absolutely,
one that
yeah.
matters.
That's
The
the one that
fourth
matters.
quarter.
But if you dig yourself a big enough hole,
I don't disagree.
all right. We got some college football to talk about. Let's take a break and we'll come back. Bill, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
I don't like calling stuff off, David.
Do you not?
I do not.
Oh,
Coach Young,
neither.
you like calling stuff off.
It's not one of my favorites.
What
I'll
have you
tell you
called
what.
lately?
I'm not going to haul anything. I'm going to call Kincaid Service Company and then come to the house.
Especially
They're
when
gonna hook
I
me up.
buy something new.
You're exactly right. They're going to take the whole one off. Refrigerator.
Yeah.
You want to buy a washing machine?
Man, them things are kind of awkward to try to get in and off the truck. You
If
know?
you want to buy a recliner, you want to buy a
Right.
bed,
They got
Whatever.
televisions.
yeah.
They got it all.
They got everything down at Kincaid Service Company.
Well, let's just stop and hear from them.
Let's
All
do it.
right, here we go.
Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street today.
But yeah,
All right. Welcome back in here to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Now we're going to swap gears, switch gears, change gears, whatever. So we're talking about some college football today. Bill, I see you got your lineup and the Todd Bobo lines over there.
Todd Bobo lines
What's
ready.
going on?
Not but two games today that really incite me. Michigan has got a good, tough game at home, and Tennessee goes to Oklahoma. Those are basically all we've got.
Well, there was a really good game last night, I just want to mention, and it was Illinois and Nebraska. Illinois was an 8.5-point dog at Nebraska, 31-24 in overtime.
Awesome
That's a good
awesome
game.
game. Awesome game.
That's a really good game.
Really good game.
Aren't you excited, Kenny? Aren't you excited about Florida, Mississippi State?
Yeah,
You're not excited
I'm
about
excited
that
about
game?
I didn't even know they had teams.
Hey,
let me
Oh,
Let me
that
tell you
was
about
bad.
this one, though. Hey,
Can't do that.
MTSU's hosting Duke
Duke
today.
homecoming.
I know.
Duke
Homecoming.
today. So that's an
Oh.
ACC team coming in.
until she's getting 14.5 points. And I still would take Duke.
I believe I would.
I would still
It's gonna
take
be
Duke.
tough.
I didn't understand the Duke and MTSU for homecoming. I don't know what.
Well, I don't know.
It is a 3:00
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, also for MTSU to get a ACC team down here though.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
It's going to take Coach Mason a little time.
Yeah.
Yes. But what they lack that I've seen is speed.
Speed.
They don't have any speed.
Speed and size.
You know,
Well,
he's
Size or
size.
speed.
Coach Stockstill's recruited for Stock's Way for so many years, and it's going to take him. He's going to have to get the kids that fit his philosophy,
Right.
and it's going to take a time.
And we've not had speed for several years.
Yeah.
It's not something new. We didn't have speed the last couple of years.
No.
But back to that Florida game at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is favored by, actually, Florida's favored by
Florida.
6. Mississippi State's getting 6 points.
I'd take Mississippi State in a heartbeat on that. The way he played.
The only thing you got to watch here, I will comment on, is Florida does have athletes, whether they've not played well in speed. And Mississippi State just got trucked at home by Toledo.
Yeah.
Mississippi State is in a.
I don't know what they got.
right now. Florida's not that much better. However, they got two quarterbacks. Lagway is definitely going to be the pull out in that game, probably.
And a lot of turmoil with coaching staff right now.
Coach is on the hot
Coach is
seat.
on the hot
Yeah.
seat, and I mean,
I hear that's-
Maybe I'll retract my taking Mississippi State in the swamp. It's going to be tough for them.
No, it's at Mississippi
It's at
State.
Oh, is it?
And there's
Not in the
no,
swamp?
it's no, it's
Oh,
it
maybe I stand with
them
it.
Cowboys, them
Yeah.
Cowboys, them Cowboys
Oh,
or
that
something.
might be
That's the only
good.
hope I can
Shit.
use them because if Florida gets up, they may not be shaking the
Nah, they won't
Cowboys. They
shake
may be
them too
throwing
long.
them.
Here's an interesting SEC game. Arkansas's at Auburn. That one's interesting.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's getting 3 points. I kind of like Arkansas there.
I like Arkansas.
I do too.
Arkansas played really well against Oklahoma State last
Yeah.
week. They still got some hiccups right at the end. but they're a really good team.
And-
They can sneak up on you in the SEC.
And some warm seats in that game.
Yes.
Both coaches
Both
are
coaches.
feeling some heat.
Yeah, those Auburn fans are hard to please. My wife graduated from Auburn. She's hard to please.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, no kidding. Those Auburn fans are
Stop
rough.
right now. Stop.
They're
Stop.
rough.
Don't say no more.
Go to the next game, Bill, before you get in trouble.
Ohio and Kentucky. Line's 20, but Ohio, I just think Kentucky, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some trouble today. But they played Georgia great. UCLA, LSU, the line's 24.5. UCLA's terrible. Vanderbilt and Missouri, the line's 21. Terrible loss for Vanderbilt last week
Yeah.
against that Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
And, they were up with a minute to go in that game, 32-29. Let them go right down the field.
Yeah.
Disappointing. Akron, South Carolina, line's 27.5. South Carolina's got a for real defense.
Yeah, they do.
A&M Bowling Green, line's 22. Ole Miss has got Georgia Southern this week. The line's like 36. Louisiana Monroe and Texas. That's not going to be a game. And how about Kenny's game in the big house, USC and Michigan?
That's the first time I believe that USC's ever gone to Michigan, and they're gonna win.
Yeah, they are.
I think they are too.
They're gonna win.
Yeah. Now, Michigan is they quarterback situation right now is not looking too hot. I think they were gonna make a change this week, so it's intriguing to see how that works in a big game, big matchup with USC coming in. But I think it's really going to come down to if Michigan can run the ball and use their offensive line and their running back.
They're gonna have to because USC coach is a play caller.
Oh, their offense.
That guy is a play caller. Now, when they get when their defense catches up with their offense, then it's gonna have to be in the Big Ten.
It's gonna be a problem.
They're gonna be tough.
But USC bring a different speed to that Big Ten. That's gonna be different. Like I said, Branch, he's one of the fastest people in college football. And they get ready to see, and they line him up in slot. They line him out out wide. They put him in the backfield. I mean, he can play any position on that offense.
Dangerous.
He's a dangerous. So it's gonna be. But going to the big house is not easy though. You're talking about 110,000 fans. I mean,
it will be today.
It's hard.
Okay.
Georgia Tech and Louisville, I think, is interesting. Georgia Tech, Louisville's favored by 10. Oklahoma State at home. And this one's strange. They got Utah. And all week, Oklahoma State was given 2.5. Now, it's the opposite way. That's a lot of money on that game. So, basically, Utah was favored all week until the last 48 hours by 2.5. Now it's gone the other way, and Oklahoma State is favored by 2.5.
I'm going to tell you right now, I like Utah.
Yes, Utah.
I've always liked the way they play. They remind me of an SEC team. Their coach recruits. They play in the trenches, and I like Utah.
Utah have.
I don't think they look as good as they've looked the last couple of years. What I
Well,
watched.
they may not, but I still like them.
They're still a top 15 team.
Oh, yeah.
They're number 12 in the nation.
Yeah.
You got NC State, Clemson, Northern Illinois, and Buffalo. That may be a surprise. Buffalo's not bad. I predict they might pull off an upset in that game against Northern Illinois. So we'll see. Now, one game we've left off. Game day's there. Robbie Davis, shout out to you, my friend. There's a whole bunch of guys I know.
Is he there?
Norman, he's there. He's
Good.
there.
Wow.
Robbie, Coach Davis
I'll
is there.
tell you, when you get to go on the road, I got to experience it last week with your team at a place that you've never been. Tennessee people going to Oklahoma, Alabama people going to Camp Randall. It's just eat it up, guys. Eat the atmosphere up. Have a big time because it's special. And I think Robbie Davis, since he's there,
He's
you
there.
said,
Robbie's there.
I think his ride home will be about like my ride home was. I think Tennessee will romp and stomp, and I believe they'll be playing. I think it'll be a 3-touchdown game.
Well, last night I got the Todd Bobo line from Todd Bobo himself, and he told me it was just a touchdown. And I'm
Yeah, he told us less than a touchdown,
yeah,
6.5.
But Bill's got the official line is 7.5 now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm thinking it's a 3-touchdown
I think
game.
it's 3.
I don't know. I might be.
Oklahoma's not very good. Oklahoma's
Oklahoma's
got a good defense, but offensively they've been challenged. And one game I go back to a couple of weeks ago, they're playing Houston. They barely win the game, and Houston's terrible. They have really struggled lately, and I just
Coach, what do you
Miko's
think?
too much for them.
Do you think this is going to be a runaway, or you think it's going to be closer to what we're thinking?
Tennessee has looked good. I think North Carolina State didn't really give us enough to look. I mean, we went in thinking North Carolina State was better than what they was, but when you actually watch them on the field, you can just tell Tennessee, especially their front seven defensively. But the SEC was different.
Right.
I mean, the speed was different,
and that's
the
the difference between Tennessee this year and the Tennessee couple of times in the past is the way they play in the trenches.
But that was a neutral site game. It's a little different going to Oklahoma. I mean, they love their football. It's their first time in the SEC.
They're going to wagon.
It's going to wagon. It's a game day game. It's a night game.
And I believe the guy that coaches in Tennessee was a star quarterback at Oklahoma.
Yes, he was a star quarterback.
And he was an assistant coach that got fired.
He got fired. So, I mean, it's a lot of emotions going to that game. I do think Tennessee prevails. I'm going to say probably a touchdown and a field goal. I don't know if they're just going to come out and just roll over them. Now, Oklahoma's offense is not good. But, like you said, defensively, they're pretty good.
Has Oklahoma faced a fast-paced offense like Tennessee?
Tulane.
Did they do the same thing?
Tulane got a good offense.
Tulane came back on us 21-0, and Tulane came right back.
And they're really good. Now, Tulane offensively is a really good team.
Hey, Hoople, Tennessee's coach.
Hoople,
whatever his name is. Hey, you say what you want. He's fast-paced, but his defense is so much better. He slowed the game down. He's slowing his game down. He's not that up-tempo. In the last couple of years, he had to outscore people to win. Yeah. He got a defense, so he's slowing it down. Why is he slowing it down? So his defense can rest.
And he also, you gotta look, as much as we like Nico, he's a freshman quarterback. And this is the first time going in a hostile environment. He has a cool, calm demeanor. But it was some plays in the North Carolina State game. If North Carolina State was really better offensively, you could probably see a change in the game.
He had a pick six in that game.
He had a pick, and he threw another pick across the middle. And he's really good at throwing across the middle, but he also, defenses can switch on you. Oklahoma coach is a defensive-minded guy. That's his bread and butter. And he has a way of rallying freshman quarterback. I'm not saying he will rattle Nico, but I just can't just go and say, they're going to go in and blow him out. You're going to have to earn that win. It's the SEC. Everybody knows it's the top dog. So, and Oklahoma want to feel like they belong.
Yeah,
you're going to Norman, Oklahoma, and them people are going to be riled up.
Yeah.
They're going to have the show. They got the country music stands and the country music stars.
Hey,
everybody's out there.
I think he's changing his mind while he's talking right here.
No, I'm not going to Oklahoma now.
Okay.
Tennessee, I think just the speed on the defense will be the difference maker.
And the depth on
you think Blake Shelton might be at the game?
I'm telling you, they got all the country music stars at the game.
All right.
Well, Tennessee's rotates 8 or 9 defensive linemen.
Yes, and that's going to be
different.
They're tough.
That's going to be different.
Guys, we need to change gears. We've gone long here.
Yeah.
But let's all right, final prediction for Tennessee. Bill?
I'm going to go 41-14. I think it's a blowout.
I'm just saying 3 touchdowns. I don't care.
You say
I'm going to say 27-14.
27-14.
Tennessee.
You've talked me into it. I'm going to say it's going to be 10, 12, 14. All right. Let's change gears and get into some NFL before we do. Let's hear from First Bank here on Madison Street in Shelbyville. We'll be right back to talk some NFL. All right, welcome back to Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Now we're going to jump into some NFL. Guys, the big game of the week for
The ain't but one game.
Y'all are sitting right here.
Hey, we're here. Hey, Bill even likes the Packers this week. Look at there.
I'm
okay.
Packers come to Nashville.
Hey, until I see differently, I'm picking the Packers.
Let me ask you this, though, Bill. Come on now. Packers are going on the road. The Titans got the best defensive NFL. The Packers are having to start a quarterback that the Titans didn't feel like was any good, so they're the Titan reject.
Okay.
The kicker's a Titan reject, and you're picking the Packers now.
2 straight games, 2 straight block punch. Can't even get a punt off. And
I'm
number
telling
2,
you.
we've got a quarterback that will just flick it and hand it to you. Here you go. Here you go.
I think those days is over with. That scares me because I think he's going to be more of a running threat today to get himself out of it. I think it's going to be a real close ball game. but I do like the yellow.
Well, I heard some people criticizing Tyler Rowland, the Locked On Titans podcast he does, and he breaks it down pretty good, and it's pretty bad for all the mistakes Levis made. You watch the film, and it's really worse every time he takes off to run. There's wide open people. This is one thing in Callahan's scheme. DeAndre Hopkins is sitting here wide open all the time, and he doesn't see it.
Yeah.
It's like whatever his first read is, if it's not there, he wants to tuck it and run or give it to you.
Well, Willis had not Willis, but Levis had to change his phone number this week because his phone was getting blown up with hate.
But what bothers me here about him is I did see these type plays before at Kentucky, especially the senior season.
Well, he just got to mature quickly.
That's right.
Or this season's going downhill fast.
Well,
I think he got a chance. I mean, it definitely the mistakes hurt versus just saying, hey, let's let us see and play another down. But I think the key is going to just be the defense anyway. The Titans defense got to stop Jacobs.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think Malik Willis is a better quarterback than people are giving him credit for.
He got a ton better than the offseason.
He got better than offseason. He had a 126.8 QBR last week. And they say you say whatever you want to. He's a manager. He's a game manager. I want a game manager that wins.
Exactly.
Give me a game manager that wins.
That's a quarterback's job.
That's a quarterback's
The quarterback's job is to manage the
That's
game.
right.
Now, go back, though, because as good as I thought that coordinators and the coach schemed up a great way
Last
to
week,
use his talent as well as the team around. Their offensive line blocked. They butt off the running game. So they was able to do Malik. He was able to throw for 100 and some yards, but also run for 50.
It's going to be a different.
And if he can do that,
It'll be a
balance.
It'll be a different front seven for the Titans, but I think there's more in the offense. I know there's more in the offense than what you saw last.
Well, it's
week.
coming back. I mean, think about it. He got there 3 weeks. He only been there 3 weeks. You get thrown in. You learn a new scheme, new play, and they actually detailed some things for him. Drawn a lot of three of his runs were design runs. Now you come in this week a little bit more confident in him. You're gonna open up a playbook a little bit more, and I think he's coming back with some vengeance. I think he's gonna come back.
They've been giving the Packers defensive coordinator a little hard time. He's first year guy,
yes,
and hadn't been rushing the passer real hard, but he wasn't gonna rush Jalen Hurts and he wasn't gonna rush Richardson. Keep him in the pocket. I think you fix to see some pressure tomorrow.
All right, I want to say one thing, and I'm going to hand this over to you, Bill, but I think I've been hard on Levis these first 2 games because of the bonehead stuff, but the things that make him do that are some of the positive things about him. His confidence, and he needs to have confidence, but he thinks every play is still alive even after it's dead, okay? And he tries to force it. That flip, I mean, he was trying to be Patrick Mahomes, okay? He is overestimating his abilities, which are huge.
But like Bill Belichick said in his podcast, that particular thing, what you're trying, the best case scenario is it's a 2-yard gain or a 2-yard loss, or you lose the football game.
It's bad decisions.
When Mahomes does these things, they're touchdowns.
Right.
They may look boneheaded, but they're touchdowns. They're first downs.
And even if they not, the thing about Mahomes is he can come back the next drive and take it down the field in less than 10, 15, 20 seconds. We done seen it. He drove him and got him down in less than a minute.
But to me, the key too is D-Hop. We give him because we want to keep that streak alive. He gets his one pass, and then we don't look at him no more. He's a Hall of Fame receiver. I love Ridley, but you got a Hall of Famer here.
He needs
you're not getting targets.
He needs 7-8 catches a game.
Hey, and we got another thing coming back in this game. We got a coach coming back that left the Titans. LaFleur. He's coming back.
But I will tell you this. I'm going to tell you this.
Prediction.
The Packers aren't going to run it down our throat. I'll promise you that. Not with this defense. So they better have something else up their sleeve.
Prediction.
I'm going to go 2017 Titans. Because if we don't win this week, we're done.
All right.
I like you. As long as we got one more another one. What I think it'll be 24-14.
Who? Packers.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right. You coach.
I won 14-17 Packers.
14-17. I'm gonna say Tennessee wins by 3. I'm with you, Bill, on this because I think
we don't.
It's do
we're
or
done.
Die. It's do or die, and it's at home. That's it. I mean, but guys, we got to wrap this thing up. It's we've gone 45 minutes. We can sit here and talk all day about all this stuff, and we can come back tomorrow afternoon and talk about this too, but I know.
What do we got? What do we got coming in high school next week? Now we got Sheville and
Sheville
at
at Franklin
Franklin County. I'm not sure. I
couldn't tell you.
didn't look
I have
at
to look
the
at the
others.
schedule. But guys, we got to
Yeah.
run. We want to thank our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville and Kincaid,
Service,
Company.
where they haul it off.
They do.
Service is their middle name.
middle name.
And guys, get out and support your local high school football teams and other
Unbelievable.
sports that are going on right now. Get out and support those folks, those kids. They work hard, and these coaches work hard. So get out and cheer your team on. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.